Hello, and welcome to the Mobile Satellite Users Association Game Changers webcast, where we speak with satellite and mobile connectivity thought leaders about industry trends and share what you need to know about the future of mobile satellite communications. I am Roger Lanto, MSUA President, and I'm here with Scott Congdon, MSUA Board Member and Intelsat Market Development and Partnership Manager, to discuss Intelsat's FlexMove Fleet solution for the mining, construction, agriculture, and transport industries. Scott joined Intelsat in 2016 and now drives land mobile business and market development activities worldwide, including strategic planning, establishing strategic and technology partnerships, and building a robust service and terminal portfolio. Previously, Scott led Kyocera's international sales and business development activities for wireless devices in markets outside of Japan and the US, focusing on enterprise solutions. So, hey, Scott, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
So before we discuss FlexMove Fleet, tell me a little bit about your journey in the satellite industry and how change has impacted your career and your work at Intelsat.
Well, I have to say, satellite industry has just been an amazing career adventure for me. My first taste of the satellite industry started in 1990. I was a financial manager for Motorola and got tapped and asked to join a fledgling new group of people trying to create a new commercial business venture from within our then Motorola Government Solutions Group out in Chandler, Arizona. And during that time, we were incubating Iridium. We created Iridium within Motorola. And it was just the most amazing collection of engineers and marketers and financial people and project planning people that were creating truly the world's first global mobile satellite service to be launched in that period of time, along with Globalstar. So I stayed with them through that process of raising the initial $1.2 billion worth of capital required to commercialize and launch Iridium as a standalone company outside of Motorola. And then, lo and behold, went to work directly for Iridium in 1994.
I have to ask you, have you read Eccentric Orbits?
Of course.
Okay.
It covers the history quite well. There's a lot of insider information there, and it was quite the roller coaster ride.
It's an incredible book. It starts out, the finger is right over the button to deorbit the whole constellation. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I stayed with Iridium from 1994 until about 1998. And primarily my role there was more on the commercialization aspects of things. So I transitioned out of a financial role and more into a market development, product development role, working with our gateway investors from around the world to ensure that they were ready to commercially launch the service in their region. And then in 1998, I didn't have enough of the satellite industry, and I was asked to join a new startup, a bigger startup out in Seattle called Teledesic, which was going to be a replica of Iridium, but focused more on broadband communications instead of just voice and messaging. And so went out there to be part of that new startup organization. Well, if you've been around the industry long enough, you know that there are cycles. There are good years and there are some bad years that happen. And right around the year 2000 or so, things got pretty rough for the satellite industry. Those fledgling mobile satellite operators who came to market in the late 90s encountered some issues because technology moved very quickly in the cellular world. And suddenly their business cases were of question, right? And so I took that as a cue that maybe it's time to move out of satellite and go into something more terrestrial bound, and started to work in the IP networking space, even the fiber optical space, eventually going into consumer and commercial electronics. And then along comes 2016, and I found this terrific opportunity to join Intelsat in Washington, D.C., and join their market development team. And that's where I've been ever since. So it's been quite the ride, always working with some just amazing people in the satellite industry. It's one of the things that really attracts me to the industry. You'll never work with a group of more dedicated and smart people as you find in the satellite industry.
So getting back to FlexMove Fleet, which we're trying to focus on here, is it correct for me to assume that FlexMove Fleet is an upgrade to an existing Intelsat solution, or is it taking Intelsat into entirely new markets and new solutions?
Well, I think it's more of the latter. Intelsat launched quite a few interesting services to focus on the land mobility space when it came to comms on the pause and comms on the move solutions. However, what we felt was that in order to properly serve the fleet environment, you needed a different sort of solution. You needed a different platform, and you needed a different sort of user terminal that was more appropriately sized and priced for the market that needed to buy thousands of them to be deployed across a fleet, whether you're the fleet operator or the heavy equipment OEM that wanted to include that as a service, right? So when it comes to FlexMove Fleet, it's really focusing on those needs either at the level of the OEM or the fleet operator who's targeting agriculture, mining, construction, and the transport industry, right? And so it has flavors of what we did previously, but it's really a whole new service and a whole new solution.
You're on some travel coming up, I think, next week. Is that related to FlexMove Fleet?
It is. It is. We're working with a global construction heavy equipment company that is going to be trialing our solution there in Brazil. We've done similar types of proof of concepts and deployments with other heavy equipment manufacturers across the globe. Usually it's in Brazil, the US, and Europe initially, but with an eye towards where else do they need this sort of capability. Just because those vehicles tend to find themselves operating in places where the cellular networks just don't reach, right? And there's this importance of always having connectivity.
Well, I think Brazil uniquely is an ideal market for satellite technology. I assume you would agree with that.
Absolutely. Actually, our pioneer customer that we launched FlexMove Fleet with is the big agricultural equipment manufacturer, CNH. And the initial market that we're serving with them and rolling out the services in Brazil. And in Brazil, it's a very large landmass country. You have farms that are the size of the U.S. state of Minnesota, where less than 10% of that entire farm operation has reach into a cellular network. So it is satellite or nothing, right? And so it's a natural fit.
So in your estimation, what really sets FlexMove Fleet apart from competing solutions, and what did it take for Intelsat to bring this solution to the market?
So it was constructed and viewed as needing to be an enterprise-grade solution from inception, from architecture through rollout through support, right? And so with that focus of an enterprise-grade solution, we started out with the assumption that we needed to have multiple layers and multiple orbit network connectivity to drive the right solution for these very special users, these fleet users. So as a complement to the existing cellular networks that may or may not be there, right, we layer in the reliability of Intelsat's own terrestrial and satellite networks into the solution. And then we can layer in non-geostationary satellites as well into the same connectivity platform. And then we do that by delivering it through an IP connection, not a messaging-based platform, but an IP stream connection. So the user has the same experience of transmitting applications and data as they do from a cell phone connection, but now it's just transiting through a satellite, right? So that's on the architecture side of it. And then you need to start looking at what are the terminals, right? Because there's no one-size-fits-all solution that's going to meet the needs of every potential fleet user. And so you have to work with a number of technology partners to play that size, price, and performance puzzle, right? To bring to market a terminal that fits the need, fits the pocket, and that also fits the SAE standards, right? It will be able to perform in very ruggedized marketplaces where there's dust and vibration and all sorts of difficulties that could damage a consumer grade terminal, right? And instead, now because we're reaching vibration and thermals as it relates to the environment embedded into the design of the terminal, that terminal can survive, right? It's not going to break the first time out. Then, because it is an enterprise customer, then you have to have the support networks that meet the expectations of an enterprise user, right? And so there have to be platforms that not only drive the network's performance, but also gives the user a chance to look into what is happening with their particular connection. How quickly can we activate or deactivate or manage a terminal on the network, right? And how quickly can we alert Intelsat support organization, which is globally based. It's done in multiple languages in multiple locations to help the various regions of the world identify and resolve a problem that may be occurring with that customer's connection, right? And so it's important that you have an enterprise grade support organization. And then lastly, it's all about planning for the future as well. So Intelsat is very engaged with the 5G AA organization on a global scale to ensure that our future roadmap and desire to integrate 5G technology in non-terrestrial networks is compatible with terrestrial-based networks. And that as technology evolves to chipsets and core networks, 5G talks to 5G regardless of which network and which terrestrial or non-terrestrial platform it may be residing on. And you gain the benefit of all the scalability of 5G technology across all, right? And so we're very involved in ensuring that we're part of that progression as we come to market with the true global 5G solutions.
So it all sounds simple, right? We make it look easy, right? But what is the current state of enterprise connectivity? Do customers know what they want? Do they need to be educated? Are there new possibilities and opportunities out there?
I don't think the end customer really knows what they want. They just know that they need connectivity. They don't care how it's carried, right? And so what we're doing behind the curtain is really of no consequence to the end customer unless they have high reliable, high performing connectivity that they're willing to pay for, right? And so the education really is more of calming them down. They don't have to think about managing yet another network, right? Or having multiple pieces of hardware on a vehicle in order to maintain connectivity. We have to make it simple for them, right? And that what happens on that transition between terrestrial connectivity and satellite-based connectivity is of no consequence. Their reach, their ability to communicate to that vehicle, wherever it may be, is possible.
Oh, and now I feel bad because I failed to mention at the beginning of this conversation that Intelsat won a Mobile Satellite Innovation Award for this solution. So congratulations on the award. And so where would I go to find more information regarding Intelsat and FlexMove Fleet?
Well, I have to say we have an amazing marketing organization that ensures that our messaging is always forefront and available. And so if you go to, of course, our corporate website at www.intelsat.com, you'll find out about all the great things that Intelsat does and offers to the market across all of our focus market segmentations, land mobility included. Then within the website, there's a specific area dedicated to land mobility, which includes a segment about FlexMove Fleet. In addition, of course, I'm always available to take a direct call or a direct email and have a chat and share knowledge and learn from you. And so reach out to me. It's scott.congdon@intelsat.com.
That's great, Scott. Thank you. I want to thank the Mobile Satellite Users Association for hosting these sessions. You can learn more about the MSUA at msua.org. You can learn there how to get our weekly newsletter that gives you updates on everything that's happening in the industry and shares information about upcoming events. And you can also find out how to become a member. We look forward to seeing you next time on MSUA's Game Changer webcast. And Scott, thanks for joining me.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
All right.